The Emperor who hated gifts. In the farthest edge of the known galaxy, beyond the bright trade routes and shining cities, there was a world made of black stone and fire. High above that world floated a massive palace shaped like a dragon's crown. And inside that palace lived the most feared ruler in the universe, the Dragon Emperor. No one spoke his true name anymore. They only called him Emperor. For 300 years, he ruled with absolute power. Whole star systems bowed before him. Alien kings sent their finest warriors to serve him. Merchant worlds sent rare crystals, ancient weapons, and mountains of gold. Even advanced civilizations offered their newest technology just to stay on his good side. But every year, the same thing happened. The tributes arrived. And every year, the emperor refused them. The grand hall of his palace was larger than a city. The floor was made of dark metal that reflected the red glow of fire rivers flowing beneath it. Huge banners of conquered empires hung from the ceiling. At the end of the hall stood a throne carved from the skull of a dead space beast. The emperor sat there in silence. His body was massive. Black scales covered him like armor. His golden eyes burned like twin suns. His wings were folded behind him, sharp and powerful. He looked less like a ruler and more like a living weapon. Below him, representatives from a rich mining planet knelt on the cold floor. They had brought a rare crystal, glowing blue with pure energy. One of them spoke carefully. "Great Emperor, please accept this gift as a symbol of our loyalty." The emperor did not move. His voice echoed across the hall like thunder. "Take it away." The alien leaders froze. "My emperor?" One of them asked, confused. I said, his voice grew colder. "Take it away." The guards dragged the leaders out, still holding their precious crystal. This scene repeated again and again. Gold from the desert worlds? Rejected. Advanced weapons from war planets? Rejected. Ancient relics from lost civilizations? Rejected. The galaxy began to whisper. Why did the Dragon Emperor refuse everything? Some believed he was too powerful to care. Some believed he was testing loyalty. Some believed he simply enjoyed watching others beg. But there was one thing he always made clear. He did not accept anything from humans. Humans were new in the galaxy. Weak compared to other races. They had small fleets and fragile colonies. Many powerful species ignored them completely. The Emperor did not ignore them. He despised them. Humans are soft, he once told his council. They break easily. They are ruled by emotion. No human tribute was ever allowed near his palace. Until the day something strange appeared. It was early in the cycle. The palace guards were scanning cargo ships, as usual. Suddenly, they found a small metal box floating near the outer gate. It had no defense systems, no tracking device, no powerful energy signature. It looked simple, cheap. One guard frowned. Probably trash from a trade ship. Another guard scanned it again. It is addressed to the Emperor. The first guard laughed. From which empire? The second guard paused. From Earth Colony 7. The hall went silent. Human. According to law, it should have been destroyed immediately. But something about the box felt strange. It was not sealed like a weapon. It did not hide anything dangerous. The guards decided to bring it inside for inspection. The council members were already gathered when the small box was placed in front of the throne. It looked completely out of place in the giant hall. The Emperor stared at it with burning eyes. "Who sent this?" he asked. "A human colony, my Emperor." The temperature in the room seemed to drop. "Did I not forbid human tributes?" he growled. "Yes, my Emperor. This does not appear to be a tribute. Open it." One guard carefully opened the box. Inside was not gold, not technology, not a weapon. It was a folded piece of paper. Simple, thin, slightly torn at the edges. The guard slowly unfolded it. There was a drawing. Crayon lines. Uneven colors. A large black dragon standing in space. Below the dragon were small stick-figure humans. Above them were tiny ships with red X marks over them. And at the bottom, written in messy letters, "Thank you for saving us." The entire hall was silent. The council members looked confused. "Saving them?" one whispered. The Emperor leaned forward slightly. His golden eyes scanned the drawing. The dragon in the picture was large and powerful. Its wings spread wide like a shield. The small human figures below were smiling. At the bottom corner, in even smaller writing, it said, "From the children of Earth Colony 7. You scared the bad pirates away." No one moved. 300 years of cold rule. 300 years of refusing gifts. And now, a simple hand-drawn card lay at his feet. The Emperor did not remember saving any human colony. He had destroyed pirates recently. That was normal. Pirates were insects. They attacked his trade routes. But he had not done it for humans. He had done it because they were in his path. Yet the drawing showed something else. It showed him not as a destroyer, but as a protector. His claws tightened slightly on the arm of his throne. The council waited for anger, for fire, for the command to burn the human colony for daring to send something. Instead, the Emperor asked one quiet question. "Who made this drawing?" "My Emperor," a guard answered carefully. "It was signed by human children." The hall felt heavier. Children. The Emperor stared at the picture again. The lines were imperfect. The dragon was not even drawn correctly. His horns were too small. His wings were too wide. It was wrong. And yet, for the first time in centuries, the Dragon Emperor did not look away. And for the first time in 300 years, he did not say, "Take it away." The truth behind the attack. The entire throne hall waited for fire. But no fire came. The Dragon Emperor remained still, his golden eyes locked on the childish drawing. The room felt heavy, like the moment before a storm breaks. Finally, his voice echoed across the chamber. "Bring me the battle records from Earth Colony 7. The council members exchanged uneasy looks. Why would the Emperor care about a weak human colony? Within minutes, a holographic display appeared in the center of the hall. Space lit up in blue light. Stars, ships, and energy trails formed a moving image. "This is the pirate attack from 12 cycles ago," a commander said carefully. The image zoomed in. Earth Colony 7 was small. A mining station built on a broken moon. No real defenses. No strong fleet. Just transport ships and cargo platforms. Then the pirates appeared. 20 attack ships. Fast. Armed. Ruthless. They came without warning. The pirates destroyed the colony's outer shields in seconds. Explosions filled the dark sky. Cargo stations burned. Escape pods launched too late. In a hologram, small human figures ran across metal platforms. Sirens flashed red. Smoke filled the air. The council watched in silence. The pirates landed troops. They did not come to conquer. They came to steal, to take supplies, to take slaves. The Emperor's claws tightened slightly. "Continue," he ordered. The hologram shifted. A massive shadow entered the scene. At first, the pirates did not notice. Then their scanner screamed. A warship, larger than anything in the sector, appeared above the moon. Black, sharp, covered in heavy cannons. The Dragon Emperor's flagship. Gasps spread through the hall. The pirates panicked. They had not planned to face the Emperor's fleet. They thought this sector was empty. One pirate commander made a fatal mistake. He fired a single plasma blast shot toward the massive flagship. The Emperor's ship did not even move. The blast hit its shield and disappeared like a drop of rain against a mountain. Inside the hologram, a calm voice echoed from the Emperor's ship. "Target identified. Hostile action confirmed." The council recognized that voice. It was the Emperor's own command. Erase them. No anger. No shouting. Just a simple order. What followed was not a battle. It was destruction. Golden beams cut through pirate ships like paper. Explosions filled space. Escape ships were disabled before they could flee. Within minutes, the pirate fleet was nothing but burning debris drifting in silence. The hologram slowed. The humans below looked up at the sky. The giant black warship hovered above them. Not firing. Not attacking. Just watching. For a moment, the Emperor's ship remained there. Silent. Then it turned and left. The hologram faded. The hall was quiet. One council member finally spoke. "My Emperor, you were not protecting them. They were simply in your path." The Emperor did not answer. His eyes remained fixed on the empty space where the hologram had been. In the recording, just before his ship jumped to warp, something small had appeared on the lower platform of the colony. A group of children. They were pointing at the sky. Not screaming, not hiding, just watching. Watching the massive black ship as if it were something beautiful. The Emperor stood from his throne. The sound of his claws against the metal floor echoed like thunder. Replay the final 30 seconds, he ordered. The hologram returned. This time, the Emperor stepped down from his throne and walked closer to the image. He saw it clearly now. The children were waving at his ship. One small child lifted both arms high in the air as if cheering. The Emperor's wings shifted slightly. He had not noticed them before. To him, it had been a routine purge of pirates. But to them, it had been salvation. One council member spoke nervously. Humans are emotional creatures. They misunderstand power. Another added, if they begin to believe you are their protector, they may expect protection again. The Emperor turned slowly. And if they do, his voice was low and dangerous. Silence answered him. He looked back at the drawing that still rested on his throne. In the picture, the dragon's wings were wide, blocking red ships from reaching the small figures. The drawing was wrong. He had not meant to shield them. And yet, the image matched what happened. His massive flagship had indeed blocked the pirate fleet from firing directly at the colony. He had positioned it for tactical advantage. But from the ground, it would look like protection. A strange thought entered his mind. They were not afraid. Every race in the galaxy feared him. They hid when his ships entered orbit. They begged. They surrendered. But those children, they waved. The Emperor returned to his throne. Bring me information about the colony, he ordered. My Emperor, a commander asked. Population. Survivors. Damage reports. The council shifted uncomfortably. Why does this matter? One dared to ask. The Emperor's golden eyes flared brighter. Because, he said slowly, they sent me a gift. The word felt strange in the air. Gift. Not tribute. Not offering. Gift. The council members bowed quickly, hiding their expressions. Data appeared on the screen. Earth Colony 7 had suffered heavy damage. Many adults were killed in the pirate attack. Infrastructure was barely functioning. Supplies were low. Among the survivors were dozens of orphan children. The Emperor studied the numbers. Then he spoke again. Who approved their shipping route near my patrol sector? A commander swallowed. They adjusted it after pirate activity increased. They believed proximity to your fleet would lower risk. They used my presence as a shield. A council member said sharply. The Emperor's tail moved slowly behind him. They believed, he corrected. The room fell silent again. Belief. Hope. These were not words often spoken in the Dragon Palace. The Emperor picked up the drawing with one claw. The paper looked fragile against his dark scales. They believe I saved them, he said quietly. No one dared respond. After a long pause, he gave a new order. Prepare my flagship. The council looked up in shock. For what purpose, my Emperor? The commander asked carefully. The Emperor's wings unfolded slightly, casting a massive shadow across the hall. We're going to visit Earth Colony 7. Gasps filled the chamber. To punish them, one council member whispered. The Emperor's golden eyes burned brighter than ever. No, he said, to see why they were not afraid. The children who were not afraid. The news spread across the Dragon Empire in seconds. The Dragon Emperor was moving his flagship, not toward a war zone, not toward a rebel planet, not toward a rival empire. He was going to a human colony. Inside the massive black flagship, the atmosphere was tense. Officers stood at attention. No one spoke loudly. No one questioned the order again. Earth Colony 7 appeared on the main screen. A broken moon, half mined, half destroyed. Scars from the pirate attack were still visible. Burned platforms, collapsed towers, emergency lights blinking weakly in the dark. The Emperor stood at the front of the command deck, silent. Entering orbit, the navigator announced. Below, on the surface of the colony, warning sirens started again. Humans ran into shelters. Some thought the pirates had returned. Some believed they were about to be destroyed. The sky darkened as the massive black flagship covered the stars. On the central platform of the colony, a small group remained outside. Children. They were the same ones from the recording. They stared upward, eyes wide, not with fear, but with recognition. One small boy pointed at the sky. It's him, he whispered. The Emperor's sensors picked up their life signs. Small, weak, fragile. And yet, they did not run. "Prepare landing shuttle," the Emperor ordered. The bridge officers froze for half a second. "My Emperor," the commander said carefully, "it may be unsafe for you to land personally." The Emperor did not look at him. "Are they armed?" "No." "Then it is safe." Minutes later, a massive black shuttle descended toward the main platform. Dust and ash flew into the air as it landed. Colony guards gathered nearby, holding weak plasma rifles. Their hands were shaking. They knew their weapons were useless. The shuttle door opened slowly. Heavy footsteps echoed as the Dragon Emperor stepped out. He did not wear battle armor. He did not carry weapons. He walked forward alone. The humans watching from shelters held their breath. This was the creature from their nightmares, the destroyer of fleets, the ruler of fire. And yet, he simply stood there. The group of children stepped forward. The colony guards tried to stop them. "Wait," one guard shouted. But the smallest girl shook her head. "It's okay," she said softly. She walked toward the Emperor. Each of her steps looked tiny compared to his massive claws. The Emperor looked down at her. She was small. Her clothes were old and patched. Her face had dirt on it, but her eyes were steady. "You sent the drawing," the Emperor said. His voice was deep, like distant thunder. The air vibrated with it. The girl nodded. "Yes." No shaking. No tears. "Why?" he asked. She blinked once, confused by the question. "Because you saved us." "I did not come to save you." "You scared the bad ships away," she replied simply. "They were hurting everyone. Then you came." The Emperor stared at her. Another child stepped forward, the small boy from before. "We thought you were going to leave," the boy said. "But you stayed until the red ships were gone." The Emperor's wings shifted slightly. He remembered. After destroying the pirates, he had remained in orbit for several minutes, scanning for hidden threats. It had been tactical, cold, efficient, but from the ground, it looked like protection. The little girl pulled something from behind her back. Another piece of paper. This one had fresh colors. She held it up carefully. In a new drawing, the dragon stood in front of the colony. Behind him were broken red ships floating in space. Above the dragon's head were small yellow stars. "We fixed your horns," she said seriously. "Last one was wrong." For a moment, the entire platform was silent. The Emperor lowered his head slightly to see the paper better. His reflection glowed faintly in the glass windows of the damaged buildings around them. A destroyed colony. Orphan children. And yet, they were correcting his drawing. Not begging. Not kneeling. Correcting. "You are not scary," the boy added suddenly. Gasps came from the adult humans behind them. "Quiet," one of the colony leaders whispered harshly. But the boy continued. "You look scary," he explained carefully, "but you didn't hurt us. The red ships did." The Emperor felt something strange in his chest. Not anger, not pride, something else. Behind him, one of his royal guards stepped forward slightly. "My Emperor," the guard said quietly through the communicator, "the council is requesting immediate status." The Emperor ignored the message. He looked at the children again. "Where are your parents?" he asked. The question changed the air. The girl looked down for the first time. "They were on the outer station," she said softly. "When the red ships came." The Emperor understood. They had not survived. Silence spread across the platform. The Emperor had seen entire planets burn without feeling anything. But this small broken moon felt heavier. The girl looked back up. "It's okay," she said quickly. "We're rebuilding." Rebuilding. The word echoed in his mind. Behind the children, damaged metal beams hung from broken structures. Emergency tents covered the open ground. Supplies were clearly limited. They were rebuilding with almost nothing. And they still took time to draw a thank you card. The Emperor straightened slowly. "Why are you not afraid?" he asked. The girl tilted her head. "Should we be?" The question hit harder than any weapon. Every race in the galaxy feared him. They called him monster, destroyer, tyrant. But these children saw him as something else. The Emperor turned slightly and looked at the ruined colony. His voice became low and powerful. "Who is in charge here?" A human woman stepped forward, trembling but brave. "I am the acting coordinator," she said. "You lost many people," the Emperor stated. "Yes, you lacked defenses." Yes. The emperor looked back at the children holding the drawing. Then he gave an order that would shake the galaxy. From this moment forward, he said, his voice carrying across the colony and up to his flagship, Earth Colony 7 is under my direct protection. The adults froze. The children smiled. High above, on the emperor's ship, officers stared at each other in shock. The emperor continued, any ship that enters this sector without permission will be erased. His golden eyes burned brighter. This colony stands because I allow it. The little girl grinned proudly. I told you, she whispered to the boy. He's the good dragon. And for the first time in centuries, the dragon emperor did not correct her. The memory of fire. The galaxy did not stay silent. Within hours of the emperor's declaration, messages flooded the dragon palace. Noble houses demanded explanation. Military commanders requested clarification. The High Council called an emergency assembly. Humans, under direct protection? It had never happened before. Inside the flagship, the Dragon Emperor stood alone in his private chamber. The new drawings from the children rested on a metal table before him. Small hands, simple lines, bright colors. He stared at them in silence. A memory rose without warning. Fire, not the fire of war, not the fire of destruction. A different fire. Long ago, before he became emperor before the throne of skulls, there had been another chamber. Warm, quiet, hidden deep within a mountain world. There had been a small hatchling there. His hatchling. The young dragon had been smaller than his claw now. Bright scales, curious eyes, always asking questions. Why do other races fear us? The hatchling once asked. Because we are strong, the younger emperor had answered. Then we should protect them, the hatchling had said proudly. He had laughed then, a rare sound. But the galaxy was cruel. War came. Not pirates, not rebels. An alliance of powerful empires united against the rising dragon dominion. They feared expansion. They feared strength. They attacked without warning. The mountain world burned. The emperor had been away leading fleets when it happened. By the time he returned, the sky was filled with smoke. The chamber was gone. The hatchling was gone. The memory always ended there. With fire. With silence. After that day, he changed. Mercy became weakness. Kindness became a mistake. Emotion became a threat. He crushed every rebellion. He destroyed every enemy completely. He built fear so deep that no one would ever dare attack what was his again. And he swore never to care. The chamber doors slid open suddenly. My emperor, a royal guard said urgently. The High Council demands immediate communication. The emperor turned slowly. On screen, the holographic image of the council filled the room. Ancient dragons with scarred scales and cold eyes stare back at him. One of them spoke first. You have declared protection over a human colony. Yes. Without council approval. Yes. Murmurs spread across the projection. Another elder leaned forward. Humans are weak. Their survival offers no strategic value. They're in my sector, the emperor replied calmly. This is not about territory, the elder snapped. This is about influence. Other races will see this as favoritism. Let them. The room fell silent. One council member's voice grew sharper. Rumors are already spreading. They say the Dragon Emperor has grown soft. The word hung in the air. Soft. The emperor's eyes narrowed slightly. Do you believe that? He asked. No one answered directly. Another elder changed tactics. Humans are emotional. They will depend on you. They will expect you to act every time they are threatened. That will drain resources. The emperor stepped closer to the hologram. They did not ask, he said quietly. The council paused. They sent a drawing, he continued. Not a request, not a demand, a drawing. Some council members looked confused. They thanked me for something I did not even intend to do, he added. The eldest dragon spoke slowly. Emotion clouds judgment. For a brief second, fire flickered in the emperor's golden eyes. Fear has ruled this empire for 300 years, he said. Has it made us untouchable? Silence. Pirates still attacked trade routes. Enemies still plotted in secret. Fear created obedience, but also hatred. The emperor's voice grew stronger. They were not afraid of me. The council exchanged uneasy looks. That is exactly the problem, one muttered. No, the Emperor corrected. It is exactly the difference. Before the council could answer, alarms rang across the flagship. Unidentified fleet entering sector. A commander's voice echoed through the chamber. The Emperor turned instantly. Display. The hologram shifted from the council to deep space near Earth Colony 7. 3 warships had appeared from warp. Not pirate vessels. Military class. Unknown insignia. They are moving toward the colony, the commander reported. Weapons powering. The council watched carefully. One elder spoke coldly. This is what happens when weakness is shown. The Emperor's wings unfolded fully. They have been warned, he said. Shall we deploy the fleet? The commander asked. The Emperor's voice became ice. No. He stepped forward toward the command deck. I will handle this. Minutes later, the massive flagship moved into position between the unknown ships and the colony. The 3 warships halted. A transmission opened. This is Commander Vareth of the Korlax Dominion, a harsh voice said. We claim salvage rights over Earth Colony 7 after pirate destruction. The Emperor's image appeared on their screen. There is nothing for you here, he replied. Your protection decree has no legal standing, Vareth answered. Stand aside. Below, on the colony's surface, the children stood again on the platform. They saw the black flagship return. They did not run. The Emperor looked at the enemy fleet. Last warning, he said calmly. The 3 warships powered weapons to full charge. On the council hologram, still active behind him, one elder whispered, If you destroy them, this becomes war. The Emperor did not hesitate. They chose this. The first enemy ship fired. The blast never reached the colony. The Emperor's shields absorbed it instantly. Then his voice echoed across all channels. Erase them. Golden beams of pure energy cut through space. One warship exploded instantly. The second attempted to retreat, too late. The third tried to surrender. Transmission cut mid-sentence as it was torn apart. Silence returned to space. Burning debris drifted harmlessly away from the colony. The Emperor did not celebrate. He did not roar. He simply remained between the colony and the void. Below, the little girl pointed at the sky again. He came back, she whispered. Inside his chamber, the council watched the destruction. One elder finally spoke. You have just started something larger. The Emperor's eyes glowed like suns. No, he said slowly. I have ended it. He cut the council transmission. Then he looked down at the small drawing still resting beside his command console. For the first time since the mountain world burned, the fire inside him did not feel like destruction. It felt like purpose. The price of protection, the destruction of the 3 warships, did not bring peace. It brought attention. Across the galaxy, leaders watched the battle recording again and again. The Dragon Emperor had not hesitated. He had not negotiated. He had erased a sovereign fleet for approaching a human colony. Some saw strength. Others saw danger. Inside the Dragon Empire, the High Council gathered in secret. This time, the Emperor was not invited. He is changing, one elder said darkly. He has always changed, another replied. That is why he survived. No, the first insisted. This is different. He acts without calculation. He acts personally. That word again. Personally. A younger council member leaned forward. If other races believe humans are favored, they will test him. Small attacks. Border conflicts. We will be dragged into unnecessary wars. And if we challenge him, someone asked quietly. The chamber fell silent. Challenging the Dragon Emperor was not politics. It was suicide. Far away, on Earth Colony 7, something else was happening. For the first time since the pirate attack, supply ships arrived. Not human ships. Dragon ships. Massive transport carriers entered orbit and began deploying repair drones. Advanced shield generators were placed around the colony. Defensive satellites were installed in perfect formation. The humans watched in shock. The acting coordinator approached the children. Do you understand what you did? She asked softly. The little girl looked confused. We said thank you. Above them, a new shield grid flickered to life, glowing faint blue over the broken moon. In orbit, the Emperor stood on his command deck. Colony defenses at 60% operational. a commander reported. Good, the Emperor replied. My Emperor, the commander hesitated. These resources were allocated for frontier expansion. Reallocate. Yes, my Emperor. He turned toward the viewing window. The colony looked smaller now beneath the protective grid. He felt something unfamiliar. Responsibility. Not ownership. Not dominance. Responsibility. Suddenly, alarms flashed across the bridge. Encrypted transmission intercepted, an officer announced. Origin, internal Dragon network. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Display. A hidden channel opened. On the screen appeared the face of a dragon warlord from the outer sectors, Lord Kael'rith. Known for ambition, known for brutality. My Emperor, Kael'rith said with a thin smile, I speak only out of loyalty. Then speak clearly, the Emperor replied. Your recent actions have caused concern among the outer fleets. Many commanders question why human lives now demand dragon blood. The bridge went still. Is this a threat? The Emperor asked calmly. Not yet, Kael'rith answered. But rumors grow. They say you were distracted. The Emperor stepped closer to the screen. Do you believe that? He asked. Kael'rith held his gaze. I believe power must remain unquestioned. Behind the warlord, several armed ships could be seen gathering in formation. The Emperor understood instantly. This was not random concern. This was a test. State your purpose, the Emperor said. To ensure stability, Kael'rith replied. I propose a demonstration. Withdraw protection from a human colony. Allow a neutral outcome. Show the galaxy that dragons do not bend. On the colony below, the children were painting on a large metal wall near the landing platform. They were creating something bigger this time. A mural. The dragon in the painting stood not alone, but surrounded by stars and small human figures rebuilding. Up in orbit, the Emperor's voice grew colder. You mistake protection for bending, he said. Kael'rith's eyes hardened. And you mistake emotion for strength. The channel cut abruptly. Moments later, fleet sensors detected movement. Multiple Dragon-class warships leaving Kael'rith's sector, the commander reported. Destination? The Emperor demanded. Unknown, but trajectory suggests approach toward Earth Colony 7. The bridge filled with tension. Internal conflict. Dragon against dragon. This had not happened in centuries. On the colony's surface, the little boy looked up again at the sky. More ships, he said quietly. The acting coordinator's face went pale. The Emperor closed his eyes for one brief second. Another memory tried to rise. Fire. Loss. Failure. He pushed it away. When his eyes opened again, they burned brighter than ever. All fleets in my direct command, he ordered, voice echoing across every dragon channel, form defensive line around Earth Colony 7. Across the Empire, loyal commanders responded instantly. Yes, my Emperor. War formations began shifting across star systems. The Council watched in horror as the Dragon Empire prepared to split. On Kael'rith's bridge, the warlord smiled. If he fights us for humans, Kael'rith said to his officers, he proves our point. Back on the Emperor's flagship, silence ruled the command deck. My Emperor, the commander asked carefully, if this becomes civil war, the cost will be great. The Emperor looked down at the colony once more. Through magnification, he could see the mural. The dragon in the painting had larger horns now, more accurate. But what caught his attention were the small figures beside it. They were not kneeling. They were standing, working, rebuilding. His voice lowered, not in doubt, but in certainty. Power that fears kindness is already weak. He turned toward the vast field of incoming dragon warships. If they wish to test me, he said, wings slowly unfolding, they will learn what true strength protects. Outside, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. For the first time in 300 years, the Dragon Empire was about to face itself. And at the center of it all, a small human colony, and a drawing. The decree of fire and stars. Space around Earth Colony 7 became a wall of steel and flame. Dragon warships formed two massive lines across the sector. On one side, the Emperor's loyal fleets. Silent, perfectly aligned, shields glowing like blue suns. On the other side, Lord Kael'rith's forces. Larger in number. Aggressive formation. Weapons charged. Between them floated the small human colony. Fragile. Insignificant. And yet, the reason for everything. On the Emperor's flagship, the bridge was calm. Too calm. Enemy fleet has locked targeting systems, the commander reported. Do not fire unless I command it, the Emperor said. Across the void, Kelrith's voice transmitted openly on all dragon frequencies. Warriors of the Dragon Empire, he declared, today we decide what we are. Are we rulers of fear or servants to weakness? His ships roared forward slightly, engines glowing brighter. Stand down, the Emperor answered, his voice shaking the entire channel. You protect creatures that will never match us, Kelrith replied. They are temporary. We are eternal. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Eternal power without purpose rots. Kelrith laughed. Purpose? Your purpose is conquest. No, the Emperor said slowly. It was. Silence rippled across every fleet channel. Even the loyal commanders felt the weight of that word. Was. Below, on Earth Colony 7, alarm screamed again. The sky was filled with dragon ships facing each other. The acting coordinator rushed to gather civilians into shelters. But the children were still near the mural. The little girl stared up at the sky. They're fighting because of us, the boy whispered. She shook her head. No, she said softly. They're fighting because they don't understand. Up in orbit, Kelrith made his move. Forward assault formation, he ordered. His frontline ships surged ahead. Energy cannons powered to maximum. The Emperor did not move. Shield grid full expansion, he commanded calmly. A massive golden barrier unfolded from his flagship, spreading outward like wings of light. Kelrith's first volley fired. Blinding beams tore across space. They slammed into the golden shield. The sector exploded with light. The shockwave rattled the colony below, but the barrier held. On the Emperor's bridge, warning lights flashed. Shield integrity at 85%, the commander announced. The Emperor raised one claw slowly. Broadcast my command to all fleets, he said. His image appeared across every dragon warship, loyal and rebel alike. His voice was no longer thunder. It was something deeper. For 3 centuries, I ruled through fear, he said. I believed strength meant destruction. I believed love was weakness. Kelrith's ships hesitated for half a second. The Emperor continued. I lost everything once because I was not there to protect what mattered. The words were heavy. Many commanders had never heard him speak of the past. These humans, he said, did not kneel. They did not beg. They thanked. The golden shield flared brighter as another enemy volley struck. They reminded me what power is for. Kelrith snarled. Enough of this weakness. Fire. His second wave launched. The Emperor's eyes blazed. Return fire, he ordered, but not at the fleet. Instead, his ships targeted only the weapons systems of Kelrith's front line. Precise. Surgical. Controlled. Explosions lit up space as cannons were disabled without destroying entire ships. The rebel fleet faltered. They're not aiming to kill, one of Kelrith's officers shouted in confusion. The Emperor's voice echoed again. I will not destroy my own empire. Kelrith roared in anger. You hesitate. The Emperor's reply came instantly. I choose. Then he did something no dragon emperor had ever done. He powered down his forward cannons. Gasps spread across every bridge. My emperor, his commander protested. The Emperor stepped forward into full view of every fleet camera. If any dragon wishes to fire upon this colony, he declared, you must fire through me. Silence swallowed the stars. The golden shield around the colony merged fully with the shield of his flagship. He positioned his ship directly in front of Earth Colony 7. Alone, Kelrith stared at the image. If we fire now, one of his officers whispered, we risk striking the Emperor himself. Kelrith's claws dug into his command console. You would die for them? He demanded over open channel. The Emperor's voice did not shake. I would stand. Below, the children watched the massive black ship move between them and the enemy fleet. The little girl smiled faintly. He's protecting us, she whispered. Back in space, something unexpected happened. One of Kael'thas's allied warships broke formation. Its commander spoke over the channel. "My loyalty is to the Emperor." Another ship pulled back. Then another. Doubt spread like fire through dry grass. Kael'thas roared in fury. "Cowards!" But his numbers were shrinking. The Emperor did not attack. He did not threaten. He simply remained in place. A shield. Finally, Kael'thas realized the truth. If he fired now, he would not be fighting for strength. He would be attacking the Emperor directly. And every dragon watching would know it. His voice came through one last time. "This is not over." His fleet turned. Warp drives ignited. Within seconds, the rebel ships vanished into hyperspace. The battlefield fell silent. No civil war. No mass destruction. Only drifting light from fading shield energy. On the Emperor's bridge, no one spoke for several long moments. Then the commander exhaled slowly. "They have retreated." The Emperor did not celebrate. He looked down at the small moon below. The colony's shield shimmered gently. Small figures were visible near the mural again, repainting parts damaged by the shockwave. Rebuilding. Always rebuilding. He opened a final empire-wide transmission. "Let it be known," he declared, his voice echoing across the Dragon Dominion. "Strength is not proven by what we destroy, but by what we are willing to defend." His golden eyes burned brighter than ever. "From this day forward, humans under my protection are not symbols of weakness." He paused. "They are proof that even fire can choose what it warms." The transmission ended, and across the galaxy, the meaning of power began to change. The card that changed the galaxy. The rebellion did not return, but the silence that followed was heavier than war. For weeks, the Dragon Empire waited. Other empires watched carefully. Trade routes slowed. Diplomats hesitated. Everyone expected retaliation from Lord Kael'thas. It never came. Instead, something else began. Messages. Small ones at first. A merchant convoy from a neutral species requested safe passage through Dragon territory, specifically near Earth Colony 7. A mining world asked if protection treaties could be negotiated instead of tribute contracts. Then something even stranger happened. A small alien settlement, not human, sent a shipment to the Dragon Palace. It was not gold. It was not weapons. It was a carved stone statue of a dragon, shielding smaller figures beneath its wings. Attached was a simple message. "We saw what you did." Inside the palace throne hall, the Dragon Emperor stood before a growing pile of similar objects. Paintings, carvings, small sculptures, handwritten notes. They were not tributes. They were thanks. The High Council assembled once more. But this time, their tone was different. The outer sector's report reduced pirate activity, one elder admitted. "Why?" another asked. "Because no pirate wishes to test the protector of the weak." The word echoed through the chamber. Protector. It was not spoken as an insult anymore. It was spoken as reputation. The Emperor did not smile, but his eyes carried a steady fire. On Earth Colony 7, the transformation was visible. New shield towers gleamed under starlight. Supply lines were stable. Other human colonies began coordinating defense networks under Dragon guidance. But the most important change was not military. It was hope. The mural on the colony platform had grown. It now covered the entire metal wall. At the center stood the great dragon. But around him were many others, different shapes, different species, standing together. The little girl stepped back to examine her work. "He looks less lonely now," she said. Behind her, the acting coordinator received an urgent signal. "Imperial flagship approaching again," a technician announced. The colony froze for a moment, but not in fear. The massive black ship descended gracefully. This time, it did not feel like a shadow. It felt like a shield returning home. The Emperor stepped onto the platform once more. The children ran toward him without hesitation. He had learned something new. He lowered himself slightly, so he did not tower as much over them. The little boy grinned. "We fix your wings again," he said proudly. The Emperor studied the mural. His image was no longer drawn as a monster. It was drawn as strong and steady. "You rebuild quickly," he said. The little girl nodded. "You helped." The Emperor looked at the colony structures rising around them. Ships now patrolled peacefully above. Trade vessels moved without fear. You helped, he corrected softly. The children blinked in confusion. He gestured toward the mural. You change how I am seen. The girl tilted her head. We just drew what we saw. Those words struck deeper than any weapon. What we saw, not what they were told, not what history said, what they saw. The Emperor turned toward the colony leaders. Earth Colony 7 will become an official alliance hub, he declared. Joint Human-Dragon Development Zone. Gasp spread. Such status had never been given to a human settlement. Shared Defense Command will be established here, he continued. Training exchanges will begin immediately. Above, dragon ships shifted position, not as occupiers, but as partners. The council members watching remotely could not deny it now. The Empire had not weakened. It had grown, not in territory, in loyalty. Suddenly, a small transport shuttle approached from deep space. Unregistered. The colony defenses locked on automatically. Unknown vessel requesting permission to land. A technician reported nervously. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Open channel. A shaky human voice came through. This is Colony 12. We were attacked by raiders 3 cycles ago. We heard Earth Colony 7 is protected. The voice hesitated. We brought something. The shuttle landed slowly. Its cargo doors opened. Inside were dozens of children from another damaged colony. In their hands were folded papers. Drawings. Of dragons. Of shields. Of stars. The Emperor stared at them. More children stepped down. None of them were afraid. The first little girl from Earth Colony 7 walked forward proudly. He protects, she told the newcomers. The Emperor looked across the platform, then up at the sky. For 300 years, his throne had been built on fear. Now, his empire stood on something far more difficult. Trust. He opened a system-wide transmission one final time. Let it be known across every star system, he declared, voice powerful but steady. The Dragon Empire does not exist to dominate the weak. Ships across the galaxy pause to listen. We exist to ensure that no child looks to the sky in fear. Silence followed. Then, from Earth Colony 7's platform, something unexpected happened. The children began clapping. Small hands. Loud in the quiet air. One by one, the sound spread. Adults joined. Dragon soldiers standing nearby hesitated, then lowered their weapons and bowed their heads. The Emperor looked at the original hand-drawn card, now preserved in a protective frame on his shuttle wall. Crooked lines, uneven colors, simple words. Thank you for saving us. He finally understood. It had never been about tribute. It had never been about power. It had been about being seen. The Dragon Emperor, once feared across the universe, spread his wings slowly over the platform, not as a threat, as a promise. And in that moment, the galaxy stopped fearing the fire and started believing in the shield.